here and we're in our week 2 of Shake It Up. So we're talking about really the true meaning of Christmas. Last week we talked about how joy can be found in the true meaning of Christmas because of Jesus. And so if you missed that, I encourage you to go back and watch that. But on a scale of 1 to 10, I want to hear how excited you are for Christmas. 1 out of 10. I didn't hear anything other than 10. 11 and 10 million. Okay. Anybody less than 10? 9.5. Okay. Why the negative 0.5? Because it'll be cold. Oh, that's true. It's Indiana. It could be 70 though. Is there really a chance for a white Christmas? There's a chance for a blizzard this week, and that's not happening. I hope we have a white Christmas. That would be awesome. We won't be traveling on Christmas because Sunday is a Christmas. So we won't have church on that day, but we will the night before. So we're not traveling on Sunday, the 25th. So if we have a white Christmas, I could be in my own house on a white Christmas. Because the one other year we had a white Christmas, I was out of town, so I missed it. It was a bummer. All right, so many of you are very excited for Christmas. That's good, that's good. My favorite things about Christmas that I look forward to the most every year, I know you guys probably have family traditions as well, but there's the family decorating day. Like most of you probably have that already. How many of you, like, you all participate in the decorating in your family? How many of you, like, you wake up one day and your mom has already decorated everything? Okay. Yeah, so in my family growing up, we all did it together. Our boys are starting to get to the age where they can help us a little bit, and then they go to bed and we finish it. Another thing we like to do is Christmas movie marathons. You guys do that? Like, so we are going to have ours this week. We're going to probably watch Elf and maybe some Polar Express because those are great Christmas movies. Although the Polar Express, the older I get, I look back at it, and it doesn't hold up as well as I thought it did. But there's still lots of it. That was one of my favorite books as a kid, too. So to see it come to life in cinema was epic for me when I was a kid. But anyway, like me, you're probably counting down to something exciting at Christmas. How many of you, it's like getting presents? Like, that's your favorite thing. Waking up Christmas morning. Actually, here's a better question. How many of you are Christmas morning present openers? How many of you are Christmas Eve present openers? Both? Okay, so that was my family tradition growing up. We could open one Christmas Eve and then the rest the next day. But Chelsea's family was different. They opened all of theirs like Christmas Eve, and then on Christmas morning there's like breakfast with stocking stuffers and stuff. So, but yeah.
We have a Christmas party this year on the 23rd, so I'm going to open the Christmas.
Yeah? How many of you, your favorite thing is the food? Like the Christmas, or the treats and sweets? Like cookies, like my in-laws have just candy everywhere, so I eat way too much candy on Christmas. But it's all good. My family growing up made cinnamon rolls for Christmas morning, so I like all the traditions. It's good. But listen, while all this stuff is awesome, it's pretty easy sometimes because Christmas is one of the busiest times of the year. Like, how many of you actually help with the Christmas shopping? Or you go to stores, you go, like, fortunately malls and stuff aren't as busy nowadays because you can order so much online, but still, like Christmas is one of the busiest times of the year, not only because of all the, like, shopping you have to do, but because then you got to take out time out of your schedule to decorate. If you're hanging lights on your roof, then that takes a day. If you're doing, like, the Christmas shopping, like I said, or if you're, you got all the traditional things, like the Christmas lighting here in Franklin. How many go to that, the Christmas lighting downtown? Pretty epic. And then there's the Christmas programs and all the extra Christmas things that you go to this time of year. So it's really busy. And while we like all of those things and we enjoy the weeks off of school, it can be easy to forget the true meaning of Christmas when we're busy and wrapped up with all the other things and the traditions. And so while all those other things are good, where's the balance? Where do you find where you actually focus on the meaning of Christmas at the same time as, like, enjoying the season and the time of year and all that kind of stuff? And that's a good thing to kind of to wrestle with that tension a little bit. It's something I still wrestle with today, even as an adult. It's like, okay, how do I make time and intentionally focus my attention on what's most important about the season versus, like, all the things we have to do this season? And so hopefully today we just gain a little bit of perspective about that. But I want to talk to you about a part of the Christmas story that we don't talk about quite as often as like what we talked about last week with the angels appearing and the actual birth story of Jesus. Like we talk about that every year, but like sometimes this is hit or miss. So how many of you guys know who King Herod was? Anybody? So who was King Herod? Just shout it out. King of the Jews, you said? King Herod was the king of the Jews, and he was a violent man, and he killed a lot of people. Yes, he killed many people because he was a very jealous king, and anybody who threatened his rule, they were off with the heads. Yep, they didn't stick around very long. This included members of his own family, so that's fun. For instance, two of his kids even, like, he killed them because they were a threat to his rule as king. So like Herod, not a great guy, right? So he was also, like I mentioned, the Roman Empire had made him king of the Jews, like that was his official title. So he took that very seriously. The Jews were his domain. He was the king, and he had a lot of power with that, and he did not want anybody getting in the way. So again, anybody who did get in the way, gone, right? And so not a good guy. I'm gonna take that off because I don't want to be associated with that. But let's check out this part of the story. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem, which is what we talked about last week, in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came from Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him." When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. Right? So, the Magi, also known as wise men, right? You guys have the little nativity sets where you see the wise men. What did they bring? Gold, frankincense, and myrrh. I don't have any frankincense or myrrh, but I have some gold, fake gold. It's not real. Don't steal it. But they came to present gifts because they realized that the prophecies, all from the Old Testament, speaking about the Messiah, Jesus, had come true, and so they were following the star to it. Now, a lot of times when we talk about Christmas, we talk about it as if like this was all the same night, and the Magi showed up when Jesus was born. But in reality, it probably took a couple of years for them to get there, to travel and to figure it all out, and to come and bring Jesus the gifts. So the Magi, they come, and they're looking for this baby that was born. They're looking for Jesus. And so they come through, and so they ask Herod where they could find Jesus, the King of the Jews. Well, what was Herod's title? Was he a very nice guy when there were other people that threatened his rule? No. So he hears these Magi, these wise men who they were basically advisors to royalty. So they're literally called wise men because they would bestow their wisdom to those ruling and be advisors to those in charge. So when they're asking, hey, where's the King of the Jews? Right? The chosen one? The one who is to fulfill the prophecy of the Messiah? And Herod, he didn't like that a whole lot. So, but let's read what he says. So, he called a meeting with his council, and obviously he's not very happy. But Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared, and he sent them to Bethlehem, and he said, "Go and search carefully for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me, so that I too may go and worship him." Right? Although he was more cunning than that, probably, I would imagine. And so the Magi are like, okay, sweet, thanks. They go to Bethlehem. They present their gifts to Jesus. And then the Lord appears to them in a dream, and it's like, hey, by the way, don't go back to Herod. Right? Like, he's not a good guy. So unfortunately, God appeared to Joseph in a dream as well, and said, hey, get out of Dodge because he's coming for you. So they flee to Egypt for a while, so they're able to escape what happens next, because what happens next is pretty despicable. right? When Herod realized, this is in verse 16, when Herod realized that he had been outwitted by the Magi, he was furious. And he gave orders to kill all the boys in Bethlehem and its vicinity who were 2 years old and younger, in accordance with the time that he had learned from the Magi. Yeah, not a good dude right there. Not a great guy. So he's a guy who, again, does not like threats to his rule. And he goes so far to the point to kill hundreds or maybe even thousands of babies to hopefully get rid of this Messiah, this Jesus that had come to be the real king of the Jews. So he's not a good guy. And it's pretty awful, right? That you have to be pretty selfish and self-centered to think that the whole universe revolves around you. See, this is what happens when we make ourselves the main character or the main story, not just in Christmas, but in life, is that we have complete disregard for others around us. Right? I'm not saying that we become murderous baby killers, but I am saying that we tend to make ourselves the centerpiece of the story, and we tend to make ourselves like, oh, well, I have this to do, I have this schedule, I want to hang out with these people, I want to date that person, I want to get these gifts, and we make me like the theme song of Christmas. And it's only natural because in our culture, everything says, hey, you got to do you, follow your heart, hey, do what makes you happy, right? And so our whole kind of society tends to put this emphasis on the individual. Like, life is about me. And if we're not careful, that will translate over into the Christmas season as well. And again, I'm not saying we're going to become King Herod over here, but the flaws that King Herod had are the same flaws that we have today, just maybe not taken to that extreme. Right? But we do sometimes kill our friendships. We kill our relationships. We kill the good things in our lives because we're trying to do what's best for us, because we have disregard for those around us. And that's what we have to be careful of. Right? I think we still struggle in the same way with the same kind of selfishness and self-centeredness and sometimes narcissism, where we think that we're always right and everybody else is beneath us, or other people in our life are really just the side characters, but we're the main character in the story. In reality, the main character is not us, it's Jesus. It's the real king. And when he becomes the king of our hearts, that's when our lives truly change. That's when we have true perspective. That's when we can actually hear from God better. And that's when we find true fulfillment in life, because Jesus is the center of the Christmas story. And if we miss that, then Christmas is just another tradition that has no meaning other than me. My lights, my music, my movie marathons, my treats, my presents. And if we're not careful, we will separate the true meaning of Christmas. We'll separate Jesus from the actual celebration that we hold every year. And so what I want you guys to do is as we go into this Christmas season, as you spend time doing all those great traditions, remember to find room to make Jesus the centerpiece of the story. Remember who to focus on most. And you guys will have some time in your small groups to brainstorm practically exactly what that looks like for your life. But one thing is just to focus on Jesus this year. When it comes to all the other things, think about how you can tie that into the Christmas story. Think about how you can make Jesus actually the meaning of it. So the most practical and easy way I can think of off the top of my head would be that when it comes to gifts and gift giving, like Jesus was the ultimate gift. And he sacrificed his life on our behalf. He gave everything to those around him. He put others' needs before himself. So when it comes to gifts this year, maybe you've got some allowance saved up. Maybe you've got a babysitting job, or maybe you do work around the yard and you get paid for that or whatever, and you have the opportunity to buy a gift for somebody. Or maybe you got parents that you could go to and be like, hey, I want to get a gift for so-and-so. Can you help me out? And your parents would be happy to help you. So, think about how you can make somebody else's day. Think about how you can put somebody else before you this season. That's just one example, but doing that allows you to focus on Jesus. It allows you to focus on really what he made Christmas all about, which was giving. And so that would be my encouragement to you, because Jesus is the center of the Christmas story. And hopefully, he becomes the center of your life as well. And that's really what Christmas is, the reminder to us, that Jesus is the point of everything. So as you go to your small groups, what's one way that you can focus on Jesus this Christmas? Brainstorm that a little bit more. Flesh out maybe some practical ideas for yourself. And then my challenge would be to try it. To make an attempt to just try it. To do one thing that focuses your attention on Jesus this Christmas season over yourself. Let me pray, and we'll go to our groups.